Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be loved. Take a moment to be healthy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment every day. Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be loved. Take a moment to be happy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment to show you care. Take a moment to show you care. Just to show how much you care. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Healing Moments once again. We do apologize for the late start, but here we are. Those of you joining us on Zoom and on YouTube, welcome to all of you. And to those of you who are on YouTube, remember to subscribe and hit the like button, and do not forget to share so that every time we come on, you will be alerted that we are on. Now, remember, our topic this month is the impact of social media. And we'll be having different and guest presenters on the show discussing social media and its impact in the Christian community and on the not only the young, and how it works with and all of us. This evening, our devotion is 1 Timothy chapter 5, verses 13. That is 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 13. And it says, "Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going about from house to house, and not only idlers, but also gossips and busybodies, saying what they should not." Let's all bow our heads for a word of prayer. Almighty and wonderful Father, we thank you for the opportunity where we can come together and bring this program to you. We thank you for the presenters. We thank you for those of us here on Zoom and on YouTube. Father, bless each and every one of us. Bless our families, bless our homes, bless our loved ones. And as the presenters present, dear Lord, allow us to take something with us from this presentation. Father, once again, I say thank you. I ask for forgiveness of sin for each and every one of us. Father, thank you so much for being with us throughout this week, and continue to be with us. For this is my prayer in no other name but that of Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen. Now again, I said we will have some guest presenters. But this week, we will have our very own Sherry Sobers presenting on social media and mental health.
Thank you so much, Sister Kathy. Yes, this month, our focus is on social media. And this week, I want to be able to speak a little bit on the role that social media plays in mental health. We think that it's important that you have some reminders. Some of the things I will say to you are not unfamiliar, but they're just reminders. And I want you first to think of the fact that as human beings, we are social creatures. We are created certainly not to be alone, to be on an island. As we always say, no man is an island. We need companionship of others to thrive in life. And the strength of our connections has a huge impact on our mental health and our happiness. Being socially connected to others can ease things like stress, anxiety, depression. It can boost our self-worth. It provides comfort and joy. Certainly, it prevents loneliness and even can even add some years to your life. But there's always a flip side. And lacking strong social connections can pose a serious risk to our mental health as well as our emotional health. And when we think about it, in today's world, when we rely so much on social media platforms such as, and I'm sure you know them, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and there is something else in the making that we don't know, but it is coming because that's how social media and technology work. We find that we connect with each other that way. Yes, they all have their benefits. And when we think of our lives over the last 2 years, if we take a cursory glance at our lives over the last 2 years, we can be sure that social media is here to stay, not going anywhere, and technology is just improving day by day. Recently I really experienced the wonder of social media when I was able to virtually participate in a big graduation ceremony of one of my heart sisters, and I really, really enjoyed it. But, and I want to say a big but, it's important to remember that certainly social media cannot and will never try to replace the real world human contact. Now, would I have loved to hop on a plane and be there with her in person? Would I have loved to take pictures with her at the end of her ceremony? Of course, I would have loved that, but I couldn't. And I did the next best thing. A real world human connection requires person-to-person contact. And that triggers those feel-good hormones that our doctor tells us so much about. They can alleviate stress. They can make you feel happier, healthier, and certainly more positive. And ironically, for a technology that's designed to bring people closer, sometimes spending too much time engaging in social media and things like that can actually make you feel lonely and isolated. It can also exacerbate mental health problems such as anxiety and depression, but we're not going to concentrate on those things. As I wrap up, I want to leave with you the positive aspects of social media. While we know that virtual interaction on social media doesn't have the same benefits as face-to-face, there are many positive aspects which can help us in our day-to-day living, as well as staying connected, as well as supporting our emotional well-being. So there are a few of them. And again, as I said, they are going to be reminders because as I say them to you, I'm sure you'll remember a time when this actually happened to you. Social media enables you to communicate and stay up to date with your friends and family from around the world, and communicate as in see them. Social media also helps us to find new friends, connect with old ones. And honestly, sometimes without social media, we would not be able to connect with people that would have gone to primary school and secondary school way back. We would not have been able to. We are able to network with other people who share similar interests, ambitions, or even challenges. There are so many groups out there that we can find comfort in the virtual world. Social media also helps us to join or promote worthwhile causes, raise awareness on important issues. It helps us to seek or offer emotional support during tough times. It also helps us to find vital social connections. If you live in a remote area, or for example, if you have limited independence, social anxiety, or if you are just maybe in a marginalized group, you are able to connect with those who are like-minded. For those who are creative and like to be able to express themselves, yes, social media helps you as well. And finally, it helps us to discover with care sources of valuable information and learning. So as we said before, social media is certainly in our lives for the long haul. Let's make it to be in our lives for the better. And as usual, as I'll leave this quote with you. And I want you to think of this. We get to live in a time when we get to use social media as a tool. Let us use it wisely and positively. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be loved. Take a moment to be healthy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment every day. Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be loved. Take a moment to be happy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment to show you care. Take a moment to show you care. Just to show how much you care. Yeah.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And for those of you now joining, welcome. And for those of you joining us on Healing Moments for the first time, a very big special welcome goes out to you. Remember, Healing Moments is on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Tell someone, share the news of Healing Moments. And for those of you on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the like, and the share as well. We want you to know when we are on at Healing Moments. Now, you know her as one of our hosts on Healing Moments. When I'm not on, she's usually on. And tonight, she is appearing as one of our presenters. Lorianne Graham Carter is here to present for you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining week 2 of the impact of social media here with the Good News Community Seventh-day Adventist Church. Last week, we had the opportunity to engage with media professional Elias Dupuy. Well, Elias is more than just a media professional. He's a digital professional. And we just want to thank Elias for giving us such a detailed presentation and introducing us to the idea of social media. Last week, Elias spoke about what social media is and how we can use it in our churches and how to reach others on a spiritual level. This pandemic has truly forced a lot of churches and individuals to use social media to reach those they couldn't physically. And I'll tell you, I've embraced it. I'm able to visit Oakwood University Church in Alabama, jump across to the Jamaica conference, go back to Ephesus in St. Michael, and go down to St. Philip for the Good News Community Church service, and head back to the North Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church, all in one day. We've all become international virtual travelers over this time. But did you know that while the churches have benefited from using social media for the work of the Lord, we also have the benefit of using it in our small businesses? I know this information is not new, especially during this pandemic. However, this is something that can benefit us. And although it might be scary, mentally exhausting, and intimidating, it's possible. So for a few minutes, I'd like you to bear patience with me and let us delve into social media and the impact it can have and the benefits it can have to your small business. Let's move this across here. There you go. Social media and your business. What is social media? Social media is online communication that allows you to interact with your customers and share information in real time. How can social media bring value to your business? You can use social media to reach your customers better, create online networks, sell and promote your products and services. Now let's go deeper into this. How can social media help your business? Well, for one, it can attract more customers to you, some that you couldn't reach on a normal basis, especially if you're not advertising using traditional means like radio, television, the newspaper. If you're not using any form of advertisement, you are depending purely on your immediate proximity and word of mouth from customers that, for one reason or another, hopefully positive, they give feedback, and that would help you get more customers. But with social media, you can widen that scope. Social media can also help you get customer feedback and build customer loyalty. How can it do that? When you buy your products online, you can get customer feedback through reviews, through people calling in, through others talking about your products, taking photos. Like for instance, if I buy this drink and I enjoy it, I might post about it and say, oh, Caribbean Cool has a great new flavor, passion fruit, and I really think that it's close to the flavor. That would be helpful to the brand, and that would contribute to its customer feedback and help the company to make more money purely because I posted it on social media. Social media can increase your market reach, including international markets. With your local market, you can only reach those that you have, as I said, immediate proximity or immediate reach to. Even if you advertise locally, newspapers, radio stations, although radio stations now have a lot of virtual reach through their websites, but if you're only going through purely traditional, your reach would not be as wide if you are on social media and putting yourself out there in such a way that people on the international field can see you and can connect with you. Social media also helps you to do market research. And I know when people think of market research, they think, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I have to go into the details of this and get the statistics. And no. Your market research could be so simply you picking up your phone, going on Instagram or Facebook, type in the type of products that you sell. Let's say, for instance, you sell natural soaps. You type in natural soaps in Barbados. When you get your results, you see who your competition is, what they sell, what they flavor, what scents, what variety they have, what are the benefits of their products. You can compare to what you sell or what you would like to sell, and how you can expand your brand so you can reach more people. And social media helps you to do all of that at no cost most of the time. There are instances where you might have to boost a post here or buy a little bit of ads here and there, but it would not be as expensive as traditional advertising. Social media can help you to increase revenue by building customer networks and advertising. Once again, you reach more people, but it's not just about reaching customers. It's also reaching people who are like-minded, people who sell the same things that you do. You can interact with them, you can connect with them. And I have a friend who had the saying, two money cannot fight. And I also know that people always say that just because I'm winning doesn't mean you can't win too. So not because you know that there's someone else in Barbados who sells soaps doesn't mean you can't sell soaps too. You all can win. You all can make a profit, and you can all network and help to build your brand and build the product and build the quality of your products just by networking with other people who are either in your field, who love what you do, or who want to engage in what you do. You never know, you might even get a sponsor. What can social media help you do? It can help you to develop your brand. And your brand is not just your logo, your design of your product, but it's also what feedback do people get when they interact with you? When someone messages you about your product, do they get immediate response? Do you respond to them politely or kindly or in a way that makes them feel that they want to continue interacting with you? If they ask you, how much for this black soap? And you say, what black soap? Or you don't see the price, that would turn them off. But if you ask them, we have several black soaps. We have them in turmeric, we have them in charcoal, we have them in whatever other varieties they are. I don't know why I'm targeting soaps tonight, but they get that sense that they can interact with you further, they can get more information from you, they can ask you questions and you can give responses, and that is also part of your brand. Part of your brand, it's how you interact with them, how you interact in person, the presentation of your product, your presentation, how you present yourself, all of that forms part of your brand as a business. Social media also helps you to exchange ideas to improve the way you do business. Like I said, if you speak to someone on the internet and they give you a certain type of response, it helps you gauge how people will respond to you or interact with you. It will also help people to tell I didn't like the way you spoke to me about this, and I think you can do better. And one thing you have to note when it comes to social media, that you kind of have to have a thick skin. As we say, Dominica, you have to allow water to roll off your back like a dashing leaf, because you're going to get people who are going to come at you hard, they're going to come at you tough. And you have to be able to take it from a sense that, yes, it's your personal business, but it's not personal, because at the end of the day, anything that comes to you, it can help your business to grow, it can help you to grow, and it can help you to develop as a company, as a brand. And that also helps you to improve your business and the way you do business. But here are some areas where social media might present some disadvantages. A lot of the times when you have to do social media marketing, it might require you to need additional resources. If you want to do your own designs online, there are a lot of free resources that you can use, but some people who want to go that extra mile and get that top quality might have to pay for certain software, pay for certain subscriptions, and if they're not doing it themselves, they have to pay someone like a social media manager or marketer, content creator, to do that kind of stuff for them so that they can help their business to grow and develop. It's a disadvantage for someone that say they have to think of the money, but the way I see it is, if you have the time, or if you're not, or how should I put it? If you're not making the amount of money that you should, that means you have some time to learn how to do some of the social media marketing yourself. And if you don't have the time, that means you're pulling in a lot of business, and you can therefore afford to pay someone to do that social media marketing for you. And there are a wide variety of social media marketers, content creators available, especially now after this pandemic. A lot of people emerged. And I'm sure that with a little bit of groundwork online, you can find someone who matches your price point, and also someone who you feel that you can work with, because not everybody can work with anybody. And I feel that sometimes you might have to have a bit of a hit and miss sometimes, but once you found someone that you can work with, that understands where you're coming from, you all have a good symbiotic relationship, and you all can make things happen together, then you would be able to get your business booming on social media. Social media, yes, it's a disadvantage. It's immediate in that if you post something and someone asks a question like, what's the price of this? And you don't answer quickly enough, that might immediately cause someone to lose interest because they're like, oh, why is she taking so long to answer that? She don't want my money. I'm moving on to the next person who sells natural soups. Yes, I'm stuck on soups tonight. But and it also needs active daily monitoring. You have to constantly check your social media, see who's commenting, see who's asking questions. You check your messages. Sometimes your messages might not go to your primary, it might go into another type of inbox. So you have to check all the time. If you have more than one social media page, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, it's a lot of monitoring. And that can be a disadvantage, especially if your business you have a busy business running and you don't have the time. That's why a social media manager / content creator or a personal assistant would come in handy to help you to get over all of that. Another disadvantage, you may get unwanted or inappropriate behavior on your social media site, such as someone saying something offensive about your product, or someone saying something disrespectful to you or to someone else on your page. You have to know how to respond to it in a way that is professional, in a way that would not further damage your brand. So you can say, for instance, you can private message them depending on what the message is, or you can decide on that public platform to respond to them in a way that is respectful, but still open to receiving criticism as much as it possibly can, especially depending on the circumstances. All circumstances are not the same. So I think you would have to use your judgment in that sense to know how to respond to a message or comment that you get. And lastly, the risk of getting negative feedback is one of the disadvantages. But as I said, it all depends on how you respond, how you take it personally, and if you're going to use it to help you to grow or to develop as a business. And there is the possibility, especially recently, where you might, as much as you try to avoid it, you might get hacked, and then you might, for a short time, lose access to your business page, and that might cause some panic. But if you set specific systems in place to ensure that that is not permanent, and you kind of find ways to create not a backdoor, but a backup in the event these things happen, then it might not be too bad. Because what people do understand when it comes to social media is that we're all human, and that these things happen. It's how you respond to the negativity. It's how people will know what you're really made of. So with this, I say thank you for listening and for tuning in. And remember, we still have 2 or 3 weeks left in the month to delve into the topic of the impact of social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorianne, for your presentation on social media and your business. And remember, as Lorianne says, we have still 2 more weeks before we end the impact of social media. Now, last week Elias Dupree spoke to us about the special introduction to social media and how best it can be used in ministry. Sister Sherry Sobers presented tonight on social media and mental health. And of course, Lorianne presented on social media and your business. And she gave us 1 or 2 pointers to help us in our business. It can, one, for instance, attract customers. It can help us with customer feedback. It can develop your brand. And you can exchange ideas to improve the way you do business. Now, before we go, our text for tonight was 1 Timothy 5:1-13. 1 Timothy 5:13. And just like Sherry, I'm going to give you a little quote before we say goodnight. And that quote is, social media fame comes and goes, but God's love always remains. So instead of chasing followers, likes, shares, why don't you start chasing God's heart instead? I love that. That is so nice. And remember, our email address is healingmoments22@gmail.com. That's healingmoments22@gmail.com. That is for those questions where you have from last week and this week. Remember, we will have a special segment where you can ask all the questions you want to ask based on the presenters for this month's impact of social media. Next week, our topic will be social media in education. That's social media in education. So once again, tell someone that Healing Moments will be on next Thursday at 6 p.m. We want you to join us. Be early. And until next week, do have a healing moment.
Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be well. Take a moment to be healthy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment every day. Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be well. Take a moment to be happy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment to show you care. Take a moment to show you care. Just to show how much you